We begin tonight with a police pursuit. You're looking right now on the 5 freeway southbound. Quite a bit of congestion there at this hour, 10 o'clock at night. You can see this car, though, weaving its way through this congested traffic near Atwater Village.
Actually, we know it started at least in Burbank, probably before that. It came out as a stolen car, but we haven't confirmed, or at least police have not confirmed with us, that it is stolen. It's a Honda Accord. You see it now in a good tight shot right there. He's moved from the #1 lane on the 5 as he curves around past Los Feliz, past Dodger Stadium, stays on the 5, and we assume he will, and then kind of moves, right past County USC Hospital and hooks around as he heads toward the East LA interchange.
And because he's been driving, he or she, we don't know who's inside that car, in a way that's been fairly dangerous. I mean, look at that there, just cutting across lanes. I believe police have backed off a bit to watch this from the sky, from their helicopter.
We have our police specialist, Jim Holcomb, on the phone. Jim, have you monitored any radio traffic to know whether we really do have a stolen car here or not?
Right now, things are a little bit confusing. LAPD is trying to confirm by going over to West Valley, where this car is registered, to find out if the registered owner knows where it is. The air unit and a police unit picked it up, and then they lost sight of them. Now the air unit then picked them up, weaving in and out of traffic southbound on the 405, as you mentioned, currently just south of Glendale. And they're trying to coordinate with the CHP, but as luck would have it, it's passing between two different CHP offices. So right now, that coordination is trying to take place.
All right. Well, they've got the night sun on him, and I mean, if this was any sort of a mistaken issue where do you know where your car is? Oh, actually, I do. This is me. That's not what's happening here. This guy's been making evasive moves.
Right.
He's been weaving in and out of traffic. So if the car isn't stolen, it's certainly being borrowed.
Well, and certainly right now, LAPD is only talking about the traffic violations, excessive speed, and all those other violations that we're seeing right now until they confirm whether or not this is a stolen vehicle or not.
All right, Jim, as we watch this car and the moves he's making with this traffic, we don't see from this shot a police vehicle immediately behind him. What are you hearing about this with the pursuit?
Well, LAPD right now is still trying to catch up with them, and the incident commander there is trying to coordinate things as to exactly what they have. They're still actively trying to catch up with him, but I don't think they're right behind him yet, because he's moving at an extremely high rate of speed.
Oh, so you're saying that the reason we don't see the black and whites is because they haven't gotten to him yet?
No, they're trying to catch up with him. The air unit has got him, and they're basically monitoring him from the air, but they haven't quite caught up to him. LAPD hasn't.
All right, now he's moving off the freeway. We need, if our booth can give us an updated location. It's near downtown, but he could be taking, this could be the 10.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Southbound 110, we're hearing. That's what our booth is telling us.
I know,
Southbound
but that's
110, you don't think so?
Yeah, it's at 110 southbound. That is where we are.
From the
Okay.
5? Okay.
So Jim, as we're watching this this car in action here, there's more traffic on the freeway than I might imagine at 10 p.m., but it is a Friday night, so that makes it more difficult for law enforcement as they're having to watch out for other vehicles, the innocent motorists there, yes?
Well, true, and anytime you're coming through Los Angeles, and of course that part of the freeway is going to be very busy going through downtown at any hour almost. And again, he's weaving in and out of traffic, so these police cars have to weave in and out, and this is a lot of confusion for the drivers down there on the freeway.
All right, if that was the 110 and he just took that right, then that's Dodger Stadium off to the right there, and that I guess that's making a little more sense.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Jim.
He's pretty much working his way south, and again, staying on the freeways is a good thing in the respect that you don't have the issues of cross traffic and pedestrians and things of that nature. But the most important thing is, folks down there on the freeway, when you see this light over you and you don't know what's going on, is just to maintain your speed. Don't make any drastic maneuvers to one lane or the other. Just back off the speed a little bit, because you're probably going to see police cars passing you both on the left and right, even though you were told to pull over to the right. And in one of these situations, just try to maintain your position, back off that accelerator, and let this pursuit pass you.
Let me ask you, when you have perhaps talked to pursuit suspects in the past, and we can try to get a feel for this direction here where this driver's going, do they tell you that they have a feel that night sun is on them, that they can tell that the helicopter's right there? They do feel it?
Yeah, they know it, and remember the night sun serves a couple of purposes. Number one, it intimidates that driver. If you're working in the air unit, you try to get around in front of them sometimes and intimidate them with the light to let them know that they're not going to get away. Number two, it also serves as other units can see the progress of this pursuit as they parallel it or try to catch up to it. And then, of course, number three, the folks there on the freeway also know something's going on when they see this light flashing.
That was the exit to or the Gore point there to take the 101 north. He missed that. He stayed. He just went under the 4-level interchange. He's now in the thick of downtown, and traffic is going to be a little bit tougher as he gets down around 3rd Street, 6th Street, and 9th.
Right. His next decision is going to be whether he's going to go east or west on that 10 freeway.
Right. Exactly.
Jim, we talk about oftentimes suspects in these kinds of pursuits heading to a familiar territory, areas that they know.
All right, he's moving off to the right there, Christine, just to... No, he's not. I'm sorry, he didn't take that.
Okay, and there we now see a police vehicle there. Jim, give us your take on this.
Well, now, it looks like what we...
it's LAPD.
I'm looking at the angle from where we are here, and it looks like it's a LAPD police car behind him.
It is, yeah.
So it does look like it would probably be Mission Division. They're the ones that were responsible for this pursuit, at least in the for the incident command portion of it right now.
Moving through the high rises of downtown. If there was a function at Staples Center, this would be a whole different story, but I don't think that's the case.
Dodger Stadium, too, if there had been a late-night game, you'd have a whole lot of traffic out there.
Actually, it's a pretty open freeway for a Friday night in Los Angeles as he picks up speed, moves through downtown as Skyfox follows him past all those high rises. Hard to keep an eye on him. He's going to be, now that he didn't take the 10.
Except that he's going so fast.
Right.
For that night sun, that helicopter overhead, fairly easy to keep a watch on this guy just by watching the way he's driving. Jim?
And Jeff and Christina, as this thing moves on, the CHP is when they move in, they're going to request that the other agencies back off. They like to run these things all on their own once it gets handed off to them. And so we're seeing that coordination. They're still trying to get that set up right now.
And what makes that determination, Jim? When do they decide, and how do they decide to make that handoff?
Well, they're doing it right now. LAPD is contacting the CHP, and it did go through one of their offices, and then as soon as it was in their area, boom, it was out, and then it was down into the LA area, so now they're coordinating with them. And it's just a matter of getting units, CHP units into position to take over the pursuit. And then once they do, they'll own it. They'll take it over till the end.
Even if he goes down to surface streets, though, and if he's in South LA, the LAPD units have a much better understanding of those surface streets than the CHP does.
That's true, and it gets a little dicey there because they want to keep it, but if it's going to stay on surface streets, they'd rather let a local agency take it. But then it jumps back on the freeway, and so in those cases, they'll usually stay with it most of the time until they're sure it's going to stay on surface streets.
And Jim, you said this Honda Accord, is registered out in the West Valley.
It's a West Valley registration, and they're going out to check and find out whether the owner knows where it is.
Yeah, this car is a long way from home. For all of you who are not familiar with the LA area, we're now south of downtown LA. The West Valley is about 25 to 30 miles out in the San Fernando Valley, and it's a long way. You see there as we go past USC, past the car dealership. This is where the double-decker freeway is. And he just keeps on moving.
He's already all the way at Jefferson right now, just passing through Jefferson shortly here. So he's moving quite a bit here. And again, if our shot, we got one police car here behind him that's moving in pretty tight, and there's not too many behind him. So
now, Jim, once the black and whites, let's say we get 2 or 3 black and whites behind him. From a tactical standpoint, do you need that spotlight still on him, or is that doing more harm than good once the officers have him in sight?
No, as I mentioned before, the spotlight serves as an intimidation factor, and it also serves to notify other folks on the freeway that something's going on. So it's really at night. It's a very, very good asset.
Jim, we've talked in the past about the average pursuit being about 3 minutes long, that they are pretty much over before we even get wind of them here at the news station or even get them on the air. Is that still the case? Because it seems like we cover an awful lot of pursuits here in Southern California.
Well, yeah, we do, but we don't cover. There's many more pursuits, and you're absolutely correct. Most of them are over within the first 5 minutes. The first 5 minutes are what I like to call the bob and weave syndrome, if you will, and that's where when the police officers light them up and they start taking off, they're going to be making left and right turns as fast as they can, trying to lose these guys before the air unit and the other assets get on them. That's when you're going to see a lot of accidents.
Now, Jim, we just saw there a police unit going code 3 in the deck above the stolen vehicle going past him. So is it possible that the LAPD is getting ahead of him in that regard?
You know, that freeway I think merges a little bit further south there, Jeff, and it's unsure whether or not he's going to try to get into maybe change out one of those units, or that might have been a CHP unit that's working that. He went by so fast I couldn't quite tell.
There's another one on top going right past him. So, and I think, Jim, I don't know if we're seeing this at the same real time you are or not, but it's interesting that 2 units now sped past the guy they're actually following. So maybe you're right. Maybe when that freeway joins up, they have a plan.
Yeah, I mean, again, everyone's jockeying for position right now to get in behind him. I know that LAPD would like to hand this off to the CHP as quick as they can. Here he is making a move.
Yep, hard move to the right, maybe going to try to get off the freeway. I mean,
he's approaching the 105 next, coming up. So that'll be his next decision, whether he's going to go east or west on that 105.
So you were talking about the average pursuit used the timing of 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes. Do you have any perspective as to what makes somebody stop quickly and bring this to an end versus the person who decides to run like this and continue it on for, sometimes we've seen this go on for hours?
Well, you know, in every case, it's different. A lot of times these guys really want to get away. If they see that they can't, they'll just pull over quickly. Other times, they're just, when they realize that the chase is on, they're just going to let it play out all the way to the end. And every single case is different. Believe it or not, statistically, about 30% of the pursuit vehicles get away. Now, remember, you brought up a good point. A lot of them we don't hear about, but a lot of these guys in the first 5 minutes, a lot of them just get away.
Interesting. We do know now, and not that all of you at home are all that concerned about what police agency happens to be chasing him, but the CHP has now taken over this chase from the LAPD. As Jim Holcomb, our police specialist, said, when they're on the freeway, he's getting off the freeway.
No, he's off.
Yeah, the CHP likes to be the agency to handle it. That's their domain. They know what they're doing. But let's see. Oh, he's transitioning. No,
and LAPD is already telling their units to back off.
Okay,
so they're out of it.
See if we know where we are right now.
So are you saying CHP's now picked it up?
Yeah,
absolutely.
CHP has it. Yeah.
Yeah. So here he is now on surface streets. And this could be Century.
Manchester. Let's see.
And look at there. He just turned behind a police vehicle. Now another one making a U-turn to get behind the suspect vehicle.
So now he's eastbound.
Manchester.
Let's see what
Eastbound
happens
Manchester.
as they come out from underneath this overpass here to see who's in the lead there. He pulled right behind a law enforcement vehicle. Looks like that car might have pulled over. Wow.
You know, Jim, for years and decades, actually, we've been covering these. We've always said, and it seemed to be true, that car thieves tend to go to areas where they're most familiar. Now, is there any reason to believe that's not the case here?
Again, you know, that
car
is
stopped.
that's really difficult to say. I mean, if he's heading back, he's definitely going in one particular direction.
Yeah.
We have to see when he starts circling the block, when he starts honing in on an area. That's when that would play into that would come into factor.
It looked like there was an innocent vehicle that pulled off to the side, actually turned down a side street there to let this pass. I'm getting a sense as you watch cars pull over that people are seeing that there is a pursuit going on behind them.
Jim, do we still have you?
Yeah, I'm here. Go ahead.
Okay. Look at him there. Look at him there running a red light there.
Yeah, and again, he's consistently going through these red lights. You saw Peds just jumping out of the way. They're almost on that last one, and hopefully, again, you know, the sirens, the night sun, and all the activity will warn people. But you know, I got to tell you, a lot of people are just not paying attention. A lot of people have headphones on, and they don't literally hear these things coming up, even though the sirens are playing.
Yeah, you know, interesting. If you're wondering at home, and Jim, you can chime in here if I'm wrong about this, but why would a guy go to this trouble by stealing a Honda Accord? Well, statistically, the Honda Accord is one of the most stolen cars. It's they're very often stolen. They're taken to chop shops, and they're sent overseas. You can get good money for them.
Well, a lot of times these chases start out with stolen vehicles or, excessive speed or reckless driving, but they end in more serious charges because you don't know whether this guy's picked up this car because he had an unreported crime that he's committed, or they got weapons or narcotics and they were on their way to do a crime. And this is why they don't want to get stopped by police. Now, ostensibly, you would think, oh, you're just chasing a guy who's run through some red lights, but you don't know what's going on in that guy's mind or why he took that car.
We're down by 92nd now, Avalon, 92nd, and it looks like he's
much more narrow road there
Yeah.
being in this residential area. Wondering if this was intentional by this driver or not.
He may be getting ready to dump this car. Now he's slowing down right now. Police are right in behind him. That's the highway patrol definitely behind him. And now he could just stop right here and give up.
And Jim, you've got people out in the yard. If you look above everyone in your screen, it's hard to see. There's a couple of people there. Guy walking on the sidewalk. It's very possible this guy got on his cell phone and said, "Hey, I'm coming back to the neighborhood. I need you guys to help me out here. I don't want to get shot by these guys." Very often, that's what they try to do.
Right now the CHP is they could have almost had a situation where they could have pitted him, but they were just a little too narrow and too many cars around.
And also, I saw pedestrians there on the sidewalk. When you're considering a pit maneuver, do you take that into consideration that there's going to be pedestrians right there, people right there that could be in harm's way should this suspect get out with a weapon?
Yeah, there's so many things going on in those officers' minds from a risk management standpoint. It's amazing that how much they have to consider on these types of pursuits.
He's down around 94th now. He was on Stanford, and he is moving for a residential area right now.
Now, it'll be interesting to note whether he exits that area and leaves, because he definitely came back and down here and slowed down. And where he's going now is very, very interesting to see if he departs that area or circles back.
Well, Jim, it's almost like he came looking for something and didn't see it. Now, that's obviously speculation, but why go into a neighborhood, into an area you know you're going to get pinched in?
Unless you don't intend to turn down that street, you realize, this is a more narrow street than I thought.
Possible. But he is now westbound on Avalon and
northbound.
I'm sorry, northbound on Avalon.
He was southbound initially, kind of made this U-turn around in this neighborhood and is now back northbound. If he intends to be going this direction, hard to tell because he keeps going in different directions.
Yeah, and we're still not getting any definitive information on whether this is a stolen car. And I don't know whether the booth has efforted any of that information, but we still haven't gotten that yet. Have we, Jeff?
No, we haven't. All right, tell us again if the booth would confirm that for me.
But here you look at this excessive speed. Now this is extremely fast.
He's going to hit somebody.
He's going down through here. Oh my! Yeah, wow.
We've got the LAPD headquarters has confirmed it's a stolen car.
Okay.
But as you pointed out, Jim, an awful lot to go through for a stolen car. I mean, there's got to be a lot more going on in this guy's head that he's trying to avoid because it's not worth it just for taking a car.
To put it in context with the officers that are down there. Whoa, he's back on the freeway here. Yep. Back on the 110, probably going, northbound maybe, or no?
He was going west.
Yeah,
so
northbound.
We'll see. So
northbound
probably north.
it is.
Yeah. To give you a little context and perspective, the officers down there in the street are looking at this as there's way more than a stolen vehicle going on. And that's why people ask a lot of times, folks will say, well, why do we have these felony stops where the guns are out and so on and so forth? It's because you have to assume the worst. And there's something going on with this guy.
Yeah.
There's some reason that he's going to this effort and putting himself and everyone else in danger.
Whoa,
it's
look at that move.
Look at that move.
Oh, wow.
All right, a lot of congestion there northbound on the 110 as this car makes some crazy moves to get away from law enforcement there.
Is that a transition or is that the HOV lane? No, it's not HOV.
Now it looks like he's transitioning.
Yeah, he's transitioning.
Now you'll notice the position of the CHP car riding the double lines there. They do that for a couple of reasons. Number one, if that guy slams on the brakes, they can avoid having a traffic accident, and also it helps to cut down on their tunnel vision, that perspective that they lose if they're directly behind.
Really?
That's why they offset a little bit.
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Interesting.
He is now on the express lanes. If you've driven this 110 freeway northbound, you know that there are this wide open portions of the freeway when you have the express lanes, and there's not a lot of traffic there. Interesting to note all the traffic on the right side, wondering why there is so much traffic here on a Friday night, but that's the situation. A lot of law enforcement there.
Well, and there's an accident right there on the right.
There you
That's
go.
what was
That's the
slowing him down.
congestion, right.
There was an accident on the northbound
Right.
110, and so we got into the express lanes. We've been told by our assignment desk that the CHP, the incident commander, has given the CHP permission to pit him. That's the pursuit intervention technique, where if it's below 35 miles an hour, they can spin him around. Getting him to go below 35 miles an hour, that's
Yeah.
another call entirely.
Well, he slows down a little bit, but you're right. Anything above 35 miles an hour is considered deadly force.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
So it's more of a legal defense than it is actually a tactical problem.
Well, a lot of things play into it. The vehicle is gonna be more likely to spin or roll or something over 35 miles an hour. And so, again, the pit maneuver is supposed to be a controlled, contact of the rear quarter panel of the vehicle, and then you accelerate through, spinning the vehicle around at higher speeds. Or if you have trucks or SUVs or different kind of vehicles, it gets a little bit more dangerous.
And then in a pit maneuver, when you do it, let's say under 35 miles an hour, then you do the pit, the car spins. How close is the police vehicle usually? Or do they try to back away, or do they try to come even closer?
Christine, you wouldn't believe how beautiful it works. I mean,
Really?
I've done a few of them in training. I've never actually done one on the freeway in a real life situation, but it's beautiful. I mean, right up on the quarter panel, turn the wheel right into the vehicle and accelerate. They spin out. Your vehicle continues out of the kill zone, and your backup vehicle then takes over the arrest situation.
Okay, we're back by USC now, heading north, heading toward downtown LA. He headed south, got off on Manchester. This is let's see, we're at 10:21 right now. This is a pursuit that started before we went on the air at 10 p.m. By the way, everybody, this is Jeff Michael along with Christine Devine in Fox 11 Studios, and Jim Holcomb, our police specialist, is on the phone as we take you through a high-speed pursuit on a Friday night.
And he is now off the express lanes onto the main highway. So, Jim, you're talking about that pursuit. Now that he's back in with this extra traffic here, is that off the table, a pit maneuver?
At this speed, yes, it is. Until he gets his speeds down, or he gets crammed up in some traffic or something like that, it's pretty much a follow him and just see what he does move.
So you talk about the speeds, but what about the fact that there are now extra vehicles, extra innocent people? When you had that express lane situation, it was kind of wide open. There was room to maybe do that should the vehicle have been slow enough, under 35 miles per hour, to do a pit maneuver and not really affect other motorists. But now, different ballgame.
Well, again, if the pit maneuver is performed properly, it really doesn't require a lot of room. I mean,
Okay.
if you'll notice, you should be able to do that within the width of 2 lanes. They don't spin all the way off the road if it's done correctly. It's a very good maneuver. You just have to have the right conditions. You have to be up close to the vehicle, and you got to seize that chance. And that's the trick in a pit maneuver.
And then when that happens, from your experience, what kind of reactions have you seen from those driving the suspect vehicle?
Well, I got to tell you, it's a departure from the way we were trained years and years ago, because what happens is that car turns around and it's pointed directly at the secondary unit in that pursuit. That puts that secondary officer in the kill zone. He's right in front of the suspect. You don't want that. That's the worst possible thing you can do. But that moment of confusion gives you time to get out of that car and then deploy on him and get a position of advantage. And a lot of times the vehicle will actually stop, because the transmission, when you spin them around, the transmission actually kind of winds up going a little bit in reverse, if you will, and a lot of times the ignition will shut off. So that's another added factor to a pit maneuver right there.
And then when you're coordinating a pit maneuver, is it actual coordination? Are you talking with the other units saying, okay, get ready, I'm going to try to do this, so that secondary vehicle is on standby? Or is the secondary vehicle just kind of always ready for that, so if it does happen, they know what they've got to do?
No, it's all coordinated. The
Okay.
incident commander, the supervisor that's in that pursuit, will give them the green light to effect a pit maneuver. Then that first car, when they have the opportunity, they'll do it. Now, one of the things that you need is you have to have a pit trained officer in that vehicle, which is why you see a lot of switching of vehicles, because some officers are not trained, or they're not current in the pit maneuver. You have to be trained on a regular basis to actually be able to do that maneuver effectively.
We're heading right back up toward Dodger Stadium. This is I take this on the way home every night a little after this hour, and it always gets tight here. You see those cars on the right, they're all heading toward Hollywood, so they're going to take the 101 north, but it's still that Gore Point really kind of clams up. he still has a choice whether he wants to get on the 101, but it appears he's basically heading exactly back the way
5
he
freeway,
came.
5 northbound.
Right, and he came from the 134 to the 5 to the 110, and he has the opportunity to, basically take the car back. And I obviously don't mean that literally.
It makes you wonder then why he got off at that one location in South LA and is now going back in this direction. I mean, look, this is Los Angeles. We probably know people in various parts of the city.
That was my theory. Yeah,
who knows why the person is going in this direction. When you have a stolen vehicle like this, I would think that police might not have much of a lead on who's driving this car. Sometimes, if they know who it is, they can place a phone call, talk with a relative. But if you don't know who it is, Jim?
Yeah, it's very hard to say, and as Jeff pointed out, I find that very odd that he got off the freeway at that particular point, went down a very few number of side streets, and then jumped right back on the freeway heading northbound. That is very, very odd.
Right. He got off at a specific off ramp, went to a specific neighborhood, looked around and didn't see something, and then kept going and got back on the freeway. And that's just too strange to be random. If you're going to get off, you're going to get off and actually, go somewhere. Now, there are 3 tunnels here that he's going to go through, and the air unit, will be able to pick him up probably as he comes through, but this is where the air unit will probably be able to identify that car best by seeing the black and whites going code 3 behind it.
Now, interestingly enough, tunnels and garages and anything where the air unit loses them is usually an opportunity for them to try to switch vehicles, get out, get on foot. And I don't know if he's going to do that in this situation, but these are the little things that are disadvantageous to law enforcement.
Is
now,
it also,
see that hook right there?
Yeah.
All right, that's the hook that takes him to the 5 northbound. If he had stayed straight, he would have gone on the 110 northbound up to Pasadena. Now that hook right there, that's one of the oldest freeway transitions in Southern California, because the 110 is the oldest freeway in all of the United States, and that transition is not banked at all. That's where a lot of people get into accidents right there. They've been doing a lot of work there to try to make that a little bit of a safer transition, and
it narrows too compared to other parts of the freeway like the 110.
Yeah. Oh, now look at where they are. They're way up over there. Okay.
Yeah, now it looks like isn't that that part of the freeway that's going to kind of terminate and dump out into Pasadena?
Well, wait a minute. If he's
that'd be the 110, wouldn't it?
Well, wait. Did he stay on the 110?
Now it looks like he might be on the 5.
Yeah, we're
no,
talking
he's on
about
the 5. He's on the 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stadium Way, then heading up to Glendale Boulevard.
Jim, from your experience, do you find that these drivers are calculating in where they're going, or sometimes it's like, oh, there's a freeway, let's jump back on that?
A lot of times when they're running like this, their adrenaline is pumping. They're not making rational decisions. That's why you see a lot of these real sudden lane shifts from one to the other, or onto a gore point or off. Their adrenaline's running. It affects their decision making. They're making bad decisions, and the more they run, the more tired they get, the more fatigue sets in, and they get very confused. It's a whole physiological thing that's going on with them when they're in these long pursuits like this.
And the officers being trained, I have to think that their energies are focused with similar adrenaline, but they're able to focus it because they've been trained. They know how to react. They know what to do. They've got the support behind them.
Well, that's true. I mean, depending on how many pursuits, the CHP are experts at this, because this is their backyard, so to speak. But still, when you're pursuing a vehicle like this, the number one thing you're thinking about is getting involved in a traffic accident, because that is the biggest danger. The next thing is, how is this thing going to end? Is this guy going to come out with a gun? Is he going to just get on the ground? So you have to constantly be thinking about that. It's very stressful for the officers as well.
How about that motorcycle right there that kind of got caught up in this for a second? That's really scary. How dangerous is that?
Yeah.
All right, in the number 1 lane, he's on the 5 northbound. He got off the 110. He has now passed the Dodger Stadium area. He's right. That's Glendale Boulevard right there, that historic bridge that goes over into
Pasadena.
Well, no, it actually, I'm sorry, it cuts down over to Los Feliz and Silver Lake. There's Los Feliz Boulevard, so he's going to be coming up on Griffith Park to your left and Atwater Village to your right. And he's just, as I said, he is just heading back south into, or I should say north into the San Fernando Valley from whence he came. Maybe, who knows? Maybe he knows that area just as well as he knows South L.A. He was up in the valley for a reason to begin with.
Yeah, now he almost looks like he might be heading right straight back.
Yeah. Once again, under that theory that it does you no good to go to a place where you get lost. You should go to a place where you can navigate and you have a little bit of knowledge. But as Christine pointed out, the adrenaline and the fear that is behind that wheel right now is unpredictable. So you'd have to kind of divide out his thought process to ask yourself, to what degree is he making sane decisions, and to what degree is he just scared and trying to save himself?
And now Jeff heading back into a different CHP area, so they're re-coordinating with the folks that had him originally and then handed him off. So once again, he's heading right back, and we're working that out as well.
But with the CHP, Jim, he could go to Bakersfield and they wouldn't have a problem with it.
Yeah, they do leapfrog though. They're as they go through different jurisdictions, one will back off and the other one will take over. So you have fresh officers, fresh vehicles. Another thing that goes on in a lot of these pursuits is that the brakes, in the vehicles, on the police cars, and on his car, every time they hit the brakes, these brakes heat up. Well, the CHP switches out new cars. They keep rotating them in and out, so they have good vehicles, good brakes, good steering, and fresh officers.
Our location now, passing the 134 into Burbank. You can see at times where the suspect vehicle actually picks up speed. Is he changing freeways here?
It might be.
Looks like he's taking a transition, yeah.
Well, he could be taking the 134 there. That's certainly possible. Or, yeah, he is. He's going westbound 134, so he's going to go. Like I said, this is the way he came. When we were just about to go on the air at about 5 to 10, I caught a glimpse of one of the freeway signs, and he was at the 134 and Western, heading east to the 5.
Okay.
He has perfectly retraced his drive from the valley.
So it makes you wonder, is he going to eventually get off the freeway somewhere here along the 134? Or will he continue on west into
right to where the car was stolen?
I think he's eastbound there on the 134, isn't he?
He's westbound on the 134.
Is he westbound?
Well, that's what I've been told. Let me see if I'm wrong about that. Yeah, he's westbound.
Okay.
Yeah, Forest Lawn Drive. So he is, you would almost say at this point he's nothing if not predictable, which is something you don't get in almost any police pursuit. But he is, if you will, he's retracing his steps. And obviously the CHP has that information. They know where the car was stolen, and actually my assignment desk is telling me this was an unreported stolen, and that the driver may have other felony evading charges against him. So I'm not exactly sure.
Unreported stolen makes you wonder then how police got onto this.
Yeah, and we're just getting information now that there may be a male and a female in that vehicle. So that's what they're telling us now.
Oh, so he's got a navigator.
Yeah, and it also this changes the dynamics a little bit too with respect to this, because now you have someone who may not be a willing participant in this pursuit that we're watching.
Okay, so then if we know it's a male and female in the car, do you think that they might know who it is in the car?
We didn't get any information on that. The only thing that they believe is they got a male and a female is all we have now.
And they have no idea if there's some kind of relationship?
No, we don't know anything about that yet. But again, when you have someone in the vehicle like that, you wonder, okay,
sure.
is that person being in that vehicle against their will?
They have to consider that, right? Yeah. And that does change their tactics all along, doesn't it?
Sure, it does. Yeah.
All right, so as we head 134 westbound Toluca Lake right now, then heading into the Sherman Oaks area. If the car continues on, you have Studio City.
He could take the 170 north, unless he's already passed that. I don't think he has, but he's coming right up on it.
I think he's coming up on it
pretty
quick.
Yeah, so he could either go straight or he could hook to the right, take the 170 north.
It doesn't look like he's aiming in that direction. Looks like he's staying on the 134.
Yep, and out here in the valley, this is a night and day difference from. I mean, obviously there could be some traffic congestion, but it's not nearly going to be the congestion that we saw in downtown LA or in South LA or near Staples Center. So he's got a little bit more open road here, and I'm sure the CHP isn't too happy about that.
Taking that route, though, sometimes at night, you will have some of the freeway off-ramps closed for
Yeah.
construction. So there
Yeah.
we go, continuing on the 101 westbound. It makes you wonder if this suspect is going to keep on going.
Yeah, he's now not going exactly back where he came from. If he keeps on this track, he'll be heading out west, out through the valley, through the Van Nuys area, and then on into the
405
west.
freeway. Or then to the 405, right?
Yeah,
Continue on the 101
Yeah, that's-
or get off on the 405.
It's the area where we were told this car was registered, where it came from. So, I mean, there is, he has done, he's done a U-turn and gone right back where he started. And once again, now Jim, how good are is the CHP and LAPD with sharing that kind of information as far as the origin of the pursuit?
Oh, excellent. Their network behind the scenes with their communications landline wise is very good. This information is being passed back and forth and then sent to the units in the field. So there's excellent cooperation there. The main thing is that LAPD will probably take over the arrest when they get them, but they're going to stay completely out of this. They're telling all their units to stay out of it, back off, and let the CHP handle it.
Since we have an idea where this car is going, because it doesn't look like he's getting off the freeway anywhere anytime soon, I assume that they're alerting officers on the ground in these residential areas, these neighborhoods, as the car is coming through. It just, hey, heads up, pursuit coming through your way.
Yeah, I mean they're notifying. LAPD is notifying all their divisions that they got a pursuit coming. Now, right now they're switching out cars. They're switching out primary cars, and right now I believe the one we're seeing right now is just took over, just jumped in front of the other one. So they've switched out cars now.
We cover these things.
All right, he is exiting the freeway.
Here he goes.
Getting off at Coldwater Canyon.
And these are some of the areas that have had some closed off ramps at night. And I thought the car would continue on the freeway, but here we go, getting off on surface streets.
Doors open on the right. Woman comes
Oh,
out.
my
Or
gosh.
somebody gets out, rolls off.
Wow.
Jim, the second unit would pick
Yep.
her up. No.
Right. They'll go ahead and get her. And again, now this is good because now it takes all that out of it. Now we got one driver. We know he's in it and he's committed.
And now they could be a little bit more aggressive in how they're going to end this pursuit.
Exactly. Now they'll get information. They'll try to get some intel from her, talk to her, find out who's in the car, why is he doing this, what are his motivations.
Well, and did you notice it did not appear that he let her out. It appeared that she got out on her own as soon as that car came to a stop.
I don't know.
Well, she fell down.
It might be hard to tell, though. I
Yeah,
mean, the
that's
car's
true.
rolling, moving, let's do this fast kind of thing.
It
I
may
mean,
be.
I don't think we know.
Okay, they got some dangerous cross traffic coming up
Yep.
here. Oh, okay.
If he took a left in Coldwater, then he's gonna be crossing Ventura Boulevard.
Yeah, there was a lot of cross traffic back there at that last intersection. The police had to slow down a little for it.
Yeah, this is the. Let me look at see if they're tracking it better than I am. But we're right in the heart of Studio City here.
Look at the way this driver is going.
Yeah,
Definitely.
he's
picking
all
up
the way
speed.
almost to Ventura.
No,
Ventura right there.
Well, wait. I was just told he's going.
Through Ventura on Coldwater.
All right, so he's going south.
Yes,
He's going
south on Coldwater, just past Ventura.
south on Coldwater. All right. Now, Coldwater Canyon, for all of you at home who don't spend a lot of time in this part of Los Angeles, Coldwater Canyon is one of the cut-throughs between the San Fernando Valley and Beverly Hills and that area. It is a very windy, difficult to drive road on a good day, in the middle of the day. At night, you start speeding around those corners and there's no telling what could happen.
And right now, the transition is moving again, trying to get LAPD to take it over since it's on surface streets and CHP wants out of it.
Yeah, I can't
Hard to
blame him.
tell if this car is still on Coldwater or if he turned off onto a side road. But you're right, Jeff. If you go through the canyon areas at night, there can be some streets here without street lights that are not very well lit. Looks kind of windy here, going up through one of these side canyon roads.
Yes.
Hard to tell, or is this Coldwater?
That's
Yeah,
Coldwater.
that looks like it might still be Coldwater.
Okay, all right.
They just do switchbacks.
Right.
Christine's probably driven that more than I have.
Yeah, well, like I said, it gets very narrow at some points,
Yeah.
and as Jeff, you said, windy. If you know Coldwater, it's pretty easy to navigate at a fairly good rate of speed because you know where the turns are.
You may.
I know. Well, like I said, if people know it, then you can move through pretty quickly. If you don't know it, you'll see people who don't know that road
Going
start
25,
to slow.
20 miles an hour. And you get frustrated. But all right, there's a left. Nope, that was just still cold
one
water.
of the curves, one of the
Yeah,
curves,
it's one of
coming
the
up
curves.
towards Mulholland.
But this, as I said, this is a cut through. It's Friday night in Los Angeles. People are going to bars and restaurants and clubs, and this street, I'm surprised it's as open as it is.
No, I wouldn't think there'd be a lot of traffic at this hour.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, knowing Coldwater fairly well, I wouldn't think at this hour there'd be a ton of traffic. It looks to me like this driver may not know it too well because he's not going as fast as I've seen some people take that road when they know it and kind of live in that area. You know, you kind of know every little crook and cranny and every turn.
Yeah, these roads can get really hard to figure out even when you're driving on them which one it is. And again, he's right in between West Valley and West LA division of LAPD as he moves into the darkness here.
Mm-hmm. He'll be coming up on Mulholland and then heading over Mulholland if he continues on here, and we'll head down in towards Beverly Hills. The end of Coldwater, once you get down the bottom of the hill, has a split. You kind of come to, not a dead end, but you have to go right or you have to go left, and that takes you then into Beverly Hills. So I would guess that, Jim, as we watch this from afar here, that Beverly Hills PD being alerted to this, correct?
Probably, but again, this is still in West LA. He looks like he's crested Mulholland heading southbound now down into the West LA division. That's the borderline for West LA and West Valley. So, you know, it's really hard to really dark up in there, but that's a very windy road. Now he's going to be going downhill, by the way.
Yeah.
yeah, Jim. We just had to dump out, and the reason we had to dump out of that is because I was giving a thumbs up to our booth to find out where we're headed next. Those hills are so dark. Flying a helicopter, and I'm telling everybody at home, Jim knows this. Over those dark hills is just too treacherous, and so Skyfox has to back off and let the police do what they're going to do.
We should let residents, though, if you're watching and you live in that Coldwater Canyon area, this suspect vehicle was last coming up to Mulholland, and we can guess continuing on. So, you know, stay safe, keep your doors locked in case this ends somewhere along that road.
And now it's 10:41. We are going to join in progress our special 2230 real estate reality check, and let's see, it's probably just about 10 minutes in. So I believe we're right at about the $800,000 level home. So if you stay tuned, you can see what in Los Angeles and Southern California you can get for $800,000 and then $1.6 million. Thanks very much for being with us.
Thanks for being with us. So we hope this pursuit ends peacefully and nobody gets hurt. And we thank you for sticking with us all night.